And this is going to be using quadratics in standard form. So we're always going to start out the same way, identifying what A, B, and C equal to. Then we're going to find the axis of symmetry, and that is negative B equals 2A. We get negative 1. I'm going to use that information to find my vertex. So I'm going to substitute negative 1 into my original equation. Plug that in my calculator. Make sure you put the parentheses in the exact locations that we just wrote down. That's a big common mistake when you do this. So we get negative 4. So our vertex is negative 1, negative 4. We're then going to make an XY chart. And our vertex is going to go in the middle of our chart. I'm going to go 2 numbers smaller. And 2 numbers greater. I'm then going to plug those numbers into my original equation to solve for y. And I can graph those points. So how many solutions I have is I look at my x-axis, and my graph crosses the x-axis 2 times. So I have 2 solutions, and they're negative 3, 0, and 1, 0. We're going to skip that third column. So example 2, start the same exact way. Identify A, B, and C. Find the axis of symmetry. Negative B over 2A. Which equals 3. I'm going to use that number 3 to find my vertex. Now this is going into my original equation. It's always a good idea too to practice plugging this in your calculator. Make sure you get the same number as I get. So our vertex is 3, 0. Then I'm going to use an XY chart, putting my vertex in the middle. 2 smaller, 2 greater. And using my calculator, I will finish filling out the XY chart. We're able to graph those points. And we can see there is 1 solution because my graph touches my x-axis 1 time, and that solution is 3, 0. Okay, next example, we continue to follow the same process. So we identify A, B, and C. We find our axis of symmetry. So x equals negative B over 2 times A, which is negative 1. I use that to identify my vertex. So my vertex is negative 1, 4. I use that to start my XY chart. Two numbers smaller, two numbers greater. I am plugging my X values into my calculator. And I am going to be able to graph those points. And how many solutions are there? I look at my x-axis and my graph does not cross it, so there are 0 solutions. All right, our last example here, we begin the same exact way, identify A, B, and C. Find my axis of symmetry. Then find my vertex. We'll make our XY chart. Use our calculator to fill out our Y values. We'll graph those points. Now I'm looking for the solutions, and you can tell that my solutions are not exactly like a whole number. So what we are going to do here, we can't say exactly what the solutions are. So the next notes D, we're going to learn the quadratic formula, and that's how we're going to be able to identify those exact solutions. So in notes D, which is coming up next, we're going to learn the quadratic formula. It's a big deal. And we'll be able to find those exact solutions.